Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this is the OnePlus 13. So OnePlus, at least in the US and Canada and North America, they are a brand known for making very good phones that are almost near tip-top flagship territory, but not quite at that tip-top category. Meaning, in years past, there were always something that OnePlus phones were missing that the hardcore tech geeks or a Samsung fan can point to and say, see, this is why I still prefer to get the S whatever Ultra, because the OnePlus is missing this. So in years past, these things would be wireless charging, or official IP rating, or a periscope zoom lens. Or even in last year's case, when OnePlus finally gave us almost everything on the hardware front of the OnePlus 12, that phone was still missing something very crucial that other brands were offering. Generative AI. I said that in my review last year. The OnePlus 12 was lacking in all the generative AI features that Google and Samsung were heavily marketing. But that's not the case anymore with the OnePlus 13. You have wireless charging, you have IP rating, you have the latest Qualcomm chip, you have a beautiful Quad HD OLED screen, you have more RAM and a larger battery than what Google and Samsung is offering you, and all the generative AI features that were heavily marketed in Samsung and Google phones are now here. So that makes this the most complete OnePlus phone yet, and in the North American market, a true flagship phone. And as usual, OnePlus is giving you all of this at a lower price than what Samsung or Google is asking. So the OnePlus 13 starts at $900 US, but there's a trade-in offer where basically you can trade in any phone in any condition and get immediately at least $100 off. So that means you can trade in even like a 25-year-old flip phone that's been useless, and you still get at least $100 off. So that means this is really like an $800 phone. And if you order early enough, like I think in the first 2 weeks, OnePlus is giving you a storage bump from 256 to 512. So that means you're getting a 512 gig storage phone at $800. So the OnePlus 13 in the US, in North America, is the best value phone right now, and will probably hold that title throughout 2025. But of course, if you're like me and you have access to phones from around the world, including OnePlus's parent company Oppo and sub-brand Realme, then the value factor is not as high because there's a lot of other great offers out there. But for the US market, this is about as good a value as you're going to get right now. Okay, we have to address the elephant in the room. The OnePlus 13 is indeed very, very similar to the Oppo Find X8 Pro that I just reviewed last month, because both of these phones, Oppo and OnePlus, really are one company and they share a lot of similar technology. So you remember in my Oppo Find X8 Pro review, I said the phone was super sleek and had a camera bump that was thinner than almost everybody else's because Oppo redesigned the periscope zoom lens. Previously, periscope zoom lens were like an L-shaped lens that had to place sideways into the camera system, but Oppo redesigned the periscope camera to be this triple prism design, so it's no longer an L shape, but it goes into this arch design like a bridge. And instead, it just sits on the camera in the conventional, straightforward method. And that allows Oppo to slim the camera bump. Well, that is the same case here. In fact, it is the exact same periscope zoom lens. So this camera bump is also much thinner than competing camera bumps from Chinese phones. Now, you compare against like the Pixel or Samsung, it's not going to be that much thinner because those phones have smaller sensors. But if you compare this against the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, the Vivo X200 Pro, the camera bump is thinner. The other two cameras, the main camera and the ultra-wide camera, are also the exact same cameras used in the Oppo Find X8 Pro. The only difference is that the Oppo Find X8 Pro has an extra camera, a fourth camera, a 6x periscope zoom lens that, to be honest, it's not that useful. So you're not really missing much by skipping that lens here. And also, the two phones have different ISPs, image signal processors, because the Oppo phone is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity chip, whereas this is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite. The screen is also very similar between the two phones. It's a quad curved display, which I really like. If you see my videos, you will know that I think this is a better design than the completely flat panels that Samsung and Google is giving you, because this design, it is mostly a flat screen. The frame that holds the front and back together is still wider than usual, like an iPhone, like a Google Pixel, but the screen curves subtly on all four sides. So when you're holding the phone, it's a little bit softer on your palm. When you're swiping up to exit out of an app, your thumb is running over a curved edge. Quad HD plus panel, regular nits 1600, so even right now under the sun you can see, but ultimate peak nits of 4,600 nits. Animations are buttery smooth. OnePlus and Oppo have had the best animations for years now. But this year, OnePlus and Oppo have designed this new software animation engine, which allows animations to work in parallel. Instead of like one app needing to close, the animations finish closing before the next app opens. This time they can work in parallel. So it's just a lot faster. I know there's this test that a lot of Chinese people do that American reviewers are always scoffing at. You know, the ones where you quickly open and exit out of an app. A lot of American reviewers are always like, oh, that's stupid. Nobody uses the phone like that. While I agree nobody uses the phone like that, I don't think that test is stupid, because doing that test is how you push the animations to the maximum. And when you do that, you will see that the animations in this phone is indeed more fluid than in the Google Pixel 9 Pro and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. These are things that you just cannot deny. So the screen and the back camera are almost identical to the Oppo Find X8 Pro. The rest of the design is a little bit different. You can see this OnePlus 13 I have comes in this blue vegan leather finish. I really like the in-hand feel of vegan leather, but I have to be honest, I don't really like the blue color. Like, in my opinion, leather should always be black or brown, and this blue I'm just not a fan of. But that's just subjective opinion. What's objective fact is that this phone is very comfortable to hold and very sleek. So it measures 8.9 millimeters thick and 210 grams in weight. So it's super light, super sleek, very comfortable to hold despite the 6.8-inch screen. Again, the subtle curvatures all around really helps. Now, despite the sleek design, this phone managed to pack a 6,000 mAh battery in here. That battery can be charged at up to 100 watt if you are in Europe and in Asia. But in the US, they use a plug with a lower voltage. So the maximum that you're gonna get is 80 watt with the included Super VOOC charger. And there's also wireless charging up to 50 watt if you use the proprietary OnePlus charger. With a 6,000 mAh cell and a Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite chip, the newest Qualcomm chip, battery life has been tremendous. This is a phone that can definitely last you all day. But if you do find yourself running out of juice before your day's over and you need to top up, I have a good power bank from today's video sponsor, Sarge. So this is the Sarge pouch, a 10,000 mAh power bank with a plug that you can plug directly into a wall socket to charge the power bank. And on top of that, this guy detaches. So this can detach into a separate power brick with its own USB-C port that can deliver up to 100 watt of power via USB-C PD. So you can charge a full-size 16-inch laptop with this little guy right here. And separately, this is the 10,000 mAh power bank, and it also has two extra USB-C port that can charge two devices at the same time. So with these two together, you can charge 3 devices at once. If you see right here, it actually has a OnePlus branding. This is made in collaboration with the OnePlus community. So that means this guy supports OnePlus and Oppo's Super VOOC charging. There's a cable included, very well built. It's thicker than usual. It has a protective metal covering, but there's also this little port here that sticks into this little slot, and once it sticks in, it stays in place, so you can have your cable and your power bank and your charger included in one piece. So this guy retails for $75 US on Sarge's website, but Sarge always has these deals that could potentially give you a discount on the final price. So do check out the link in the description below if you're interested in the Sarge pouch. So as I mentioned, all the bells and whistles that you could expect from a tip-top flagship phone are here. So there's IP69 water and dust resistance rating. IP69 means that not only can this phone be submerged underwater and is resistant against dust, it can also withstand high pressure water spray. So to demonstrate this, OnePlus put the phone into a dishwasher machine for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, the phone still worked perfectly fine. So like I said, there's really not a single feature that Samsung or Google is offering you that is not here. Maybe other than the S Pen, that's about it. Everything else is here, including the generative AI features that I have been quite a fan of. So generative AI photo editing, meaning you can remove something from a picture and have generative AI create original pixels in its place. It is here. It works just as well as on the Google Pixel and Samsung. There's also AI and blur, which if you have a photo where the subject is slightly blurry, OnePlus's AI could potentially sharpen that image using AI algorithms. Circle to search, which is one of my favorite features, that is available here with just a long press of the home button. And the AI summary will summarize long documents and even voice recording. So you can record a voice memo and then AI will be able to turn that into a transcript immediately. So these are AI features that were previously exclusive to the Google Pixel phones or the Samsung Galaxy phones, and now it is here in the OnePlus 13, and they all work very well. Okay, next up, let's look at the camera. So as I said, this main camera system on the back is exactly the same as the camera system in the Oppo Find X8 Pro. So you have a 50 megapixel main camera with a very fast f1.6 aperture, but a 1/1.4 inch image sensor size. So that's not the largest image sensor size around if you compare it to phones in Asia, but in the US is actually fine. And then you have a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera, f2 aperture. This is a very fast aperture for an ultra-wide camera. As you can see here, this is low light footage shot with the ultra-wide camera, and it still looks pretty good because a couple of years ago, if you try to shoot low light videos with an ultra-wide camera, it would look soft and fuzzy as hell. But here, it's still respectable. It's not super sharp, but it's fine. But then my favorite lens is the 50 megapixel periscope zoom lens using Oppo and OnePlus's redesigned tri-prism technology. So this is the f2.6 lens, and it gets a 3x optical zoom, or about 73 millimeter. And you can do an in-sensor crop to get a 6x zoom that's pretty respectable. Now, if you watch my Oppo Find X8 Pro review, you may remember that I actually expressed slight disappointments with the Oppo Find X8 Pro's cameras. My main gripe with that camera was that all the sensor sizes were downgrades from the previous Find X7 phone, and they were also relatively small compared to competing phones out in China from Vivo and Xiaomi, and I still stand by that. However, that criticism I have for the Oppo Find X8 Pro does not really apply to the OnePlus 13, because first of all, this phone is priced lower than the Oppo Find X8 Pro by several $100s. Second of all, this phone is aiming at a different market. In the US, the OnePlus 13 is competing against Samsung, Google, and Apple, which are not giving you the biggest sensors anyway. So even though the image sensor size here, 1/1.4 inch for the main camera, 1/2 inch for the periscope, they are relatively small compared to, say, the Xiaomi 14 Ultra or the Vivo X200 Pro. They're still not small compared to the Google Pixel 9 Pro or the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So do you get what I mean? Like, when you look at the phones in context, the Oppo Find X8 Pro's image sensors are a little bit small in China, but the OnePlus 13 Pro's image sensors, they're not that small in the US. So once you look at it from this perspective, then the OnePlus 13's camera is really good, and I have no complaints really. I mean, I thought the Oppo Find X8 Pro's cameras were pretty good too. I didn't say they were bad cameras. I just thought the sensor size were a downgrade. But right here, I have none of those complaints. The samples, as you can see, they look good. Video stabilization is excellent. This is handheld right now. Okay, ultra-wide camera footage. Main camera. 3x. 6x. You're watching front-facing camera footage of the OnePlus 13. This is 4K 30, but you can actually shoot up to 4K 60, which is pretty good. And also, there's a fast shutter mode here that can grab some really good, clean action shots. So like I said, compared to US competition, I have no complaints about the OnePlus 13 cameras at all. In fact, I think the zoom lens here is the best zoom lens in America right now. It definitely outperforms the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Google Pixel 9 Pro. And the S24 Ultra, I think it beats it by a little bit. Now, the thing is, the S24 Ultra is a year old and the S25 Ultra is around the corner. So maybe Samsung can retake the lead. But as of right now, late December 2024, the OnePlus 13 has the best zoom lens that you can buy in America right now, like officially anyway. I know you can always import the Vivo X200 Pro, which is the best zoom lens in the whole world. Okay, let's look at the software. So this phone runs Oxygen OS 15 based on Android 15. Like I said earlier, animation of this phone is buttery smooth, even more fluid than anything I've seen from a Samsung or Google phone. One more thing about the software I want to mention is that this phone has the best-in-class multitasking system. You can open apps in a floating window, in a split screen, and also Open Canvas, the multitasking system that OnePlus introduced with the foldable phone, is here. So you see right here, I have the photo gallery app here. I have Google Chrome here. The two apps are not locked into a static grid. When I interact with one, it dynamically zooms into Chrome, and then when I jump back to here, it will dynamically zoom into this guy. So I can quickly cycle between two apps while still getting almost full screen of the two apps. On the performance front, this guy runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite with a large cooling chamber too. So thermals are good and overall performance is good. I ran a 20-minute stress test on the app 3D Mark, and you can see the score here is respectable. And the Geekbench scores are obviously very high too. Battery life, as I said, is excellent. You can go all day on a single charge. So ultimately, the OnePlus 13 is the most well-rounded phone that OnePlus has put out. And like I said, it is the first OnePlus phone to be able to say it is a true flagship. It is not missing anything. It has wireless charging, IP rating, the best screen, larger battery than everybody else, super fast charging, the newest Qualcomm chip, the best zoom lens, a very good capable main camera. All this for $900 to start and potentially $800 if you trade in like any phone. That's a damn good steal. However, the obstacle for OnePlus in the US market is that it's not in the carrier stores, because a lot of Americans buy phones from a carrier. So that's where OnePlus is at a disadvantage. But if you know your phones, then the OnePlus 13 is the one to get. And OnePlus has tested this phone to work across all the major US carriers. So everything will work. You get all the bands, the peak 5G speed. But then of course, if you step away from the North American market and you look at the global market, which I usually cover, then the competition is a lot tougher. The OnePlus 13, for example, will no longer have the best zoom lens if you look at the global market. And if you're in China, I think the OnePlus 13 is not that much cheaper than say the Vivo X200. So I think you may still be better off buying the Vivo X200 or like a Redmi phone if you want the best value. But that's in the global market. And then to be honest, in the global market, Oppo usually takes priority over OnePlus anyway. OnePlus is mostly for, I believe, the India market and the US market. And in these two markets, the OnePlus 13 has a lot of appeal. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please consider subscribing to our channel. It will help me a lot. Thanks for watching.